This is a clip from NBC4's news becoming the hottest year on record last year. Self-explanatory, and it was on the 9th of January.
2012 was the hottest year on record for the 48 contiguous states, a full 1 degree Fahrenheit above the previous record set back in 1998. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration also says last year was the second worst for extreme weather events such as tornadoes, wildfires, and drought. The agency says the trend of big heat and rain events is likely to continue and that it is consistent with a warming world. Now let's head to Wall Street, CNBC.
January 19th, again more weather regarding, this is what I said, extreme weather coming in for California. Just confirmation. NBC4 again.
It's a bit of violent while we're experiencing record cold temperatures out here this winter. 2 reports released today say that last year was one of the warmest years on record. So take a look at this. The East Coast has been experiencing balmy winter weather. January beach volleyball in Washington, D.C., can you believe it? Over the weekend they had temperatures near 70 degrees. The separate reports released by NASA and NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, both say 2012's weather points to a continuing trend of very, very rising global temperatures. According to NASA, last year's global temperatures were the 9th highest on record since 1880, the year annual temperature records were first recorded. That might not seem all that alarming until you factor in that all 10 of the warmest years have occurred since 1998. The reason for the warming, according to scientists quoted in NASA's report, increased amounts of carbon dioxide, that is greenhouse gases, being pumped into the atmosphere and trapping heat. And nationally, here in the U.S., NOAA's report said 2012 was the hottest year on record for the continental United States, and the second most extreme weather year on record, of course, with the effects of Superstorm Sandy. A record-breaking wildfire season as well, and severe drought that hit nearly 2/3 of the United States, and it's still affecting a large portion of the United States. Now, weather patterns fluctuate from year to year. Some NASA scientists are saying it's not a given that each year will be warmer than the next, but they do predict that each decade will be warmer than the past decade. So we can discuss this global warming issue amongst your
This is the flooding in Australia, January 30th.
Deadly floodwaters are peaking today in eastern Australia. At least 4 people have lost their lives and thousands have evacuated from the worst flooding Australia has seen in decades. Rescuers have been relying on a fleet of helicopters to pluck people from rooftops over the past several days. The historic floods are being blamed on the remnants of Cyclone Oswald.
And again, we'll talk about all of this in a minute. February 13th, snow, U.S.A.
Snow! Hey, how about the snow surplus? We went from not enough snow in Boston, now they're 8 inches above where they should be for this year. Tell me, here, Hartford, almost 19 inches. New York City, 3 inches above normal. But you head out.
February 23rd, and we're looking at extreme weather, worst snowstorms. Here we go, blizzards.
Visibility has led to numerous accidents, some roads impassable, and at least 1 person killed. Snow is usually just a 4-letter word in places near San Diego, and while the kids seem to love it,
it's really cool. Never snowed this much.
drivers decidedly did not.
It started getting kind of dicey weather, and then we saw the police vehicles, and they had the flares set up.
In Arizona, baseball fields in Scottsdale were buried under a blanket of snow.
No, this is not a joke. We are in Arizona.
Even golfers on the PGA Tour ran into some wacky weather near Tucson. The Match Play Championship had to be postponed. 2 inches of snow covered the Dove Mountain course. Golfer Ricky Fowler demonstrated he can throw a mean snowball when he's not on the links.
Well, it wasn't quite as bad there at the country club there outside of Tucson. They've delayed the start this morning until 9:30 local time because of the snow and the cold temperatures. It was down around freezing this morning. Back here in KC, they've canceled over 150 flights in and out of the airport, And meanwhile, to go along with the snow and the blowing snow at 2 inches an hour, we're looking for thunder snow. A wild morning and a day here in KC. David, back to you.
This morning as well, tracking the storm. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, David. And you can see there's a live shot, a live downtown camera, Wichita, Kansas. The camera bouncing up and down from the wind. You can see all the snow that has come down. They've been picking up snow at a rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. This is a huge storm. There are 3 ingredients to this system. First, we got a big Arctic high. That provides the cold air. We've got the jet stream coming up over this low, and then a lot of Gulf moisture streaming up into it. So here's what we're looking for. We have 20 states affected right now by winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, ice storm warnings into the south. We've got a risk of severe weather along the Gulf. Snowfall amounts with this system are going to be huge. We're talking about 12 to 18 inches of snow along the Nebraska-Kansas border, but a wider area of 9 to 12 inches of snow from Iowa all the way back into Kansas, about 3 to 6 inches back into the Rockies and up ahead to Chicago. Ice is going to be a big problem as well. As much as an inch of ice falling from Tulsa all the way to Cincinnati and Columbus, that's going to cause major problems. How American models too, but the European model has been getting it done for us. And here's what we're looking at. As we start Friday, it makes its way up off the southeastern Atlantic coast and then comes out sometime around the Marfa Peninsula and pushes Saturday up right along the New Jersey, Long Island coastline. Snowfall amounts right now, we are talking about 9 inches in Boston this weekend, 8 inches in Portland, Albany 4 inches, New York less than an inch of snow. But again, it's still out. We have to wait for it to form and get itself together. But this is what we could be looking at.
And here we are in Italy, and as I said, there will be more near Rome. And there is as you can see, oops, I guess we didn't do that, I apologize, back into earthquakes here. An earthquake here, and I believe it was a 4.9. 4.9 in central Italy. So we are seeing more, but we're going to go into a bit more of information why we're going to see higher earthquakes in Italy and around that area. One of my clients, one of the subscribers to YouTube, has supplied us with an explanation, which is what I saw in the prediction. These are all the predictions, again, updated. We are going to go just on another one, and I wanted to again tell you that I had predicted here more northern into Russia, far more here. This actually in the Russia is a 6.9 followed with an afterquake of 6.5, and let's see what else. I think really that's it. Okay, we'll be back. Hi everybody, and again it's me regarding the earthquakes. We're kind of dotting around here because this is just an update on so far. I know it's not even been just about 2 months here. We're in March 1st here, but a lot of things have been coming true from the predictions from 12/12 and 12/21 as opposed to the 12/31 predictions that were given. You can check with my channel and you'll see all of the all the predictions there. And I had said that in the as you can see, this one, oh geez, I'm sorry, trust us. Anyway, we are seeing I believe it's a 5.1 here up in near Oregon, and that one actually happened at 2:27 a few days ago. And you will see far more here than, because of really it's affecting from Canada, which we'll talk about in a minute. But exactly, you're going to see higher earthquakes off that, and subsequent more earthquakes in this area. As you can see, there's an intensity there of more earthquakes happening. That's actually in Nevada, and Nevada just had a 4.1 on 228 over there. And as I said, at what I call a drop H, you can see a lot more happening, and you will see a few more little scattered earthquakes in here, that section. But as you can see, we've got one, this is in Kansas, and that one is a, let's see, trying to get my facts here. I think it was a 2.5. Anyway, this one was in Oklahoma City, and that's 3.5. And we're seeing far more earthquakes like that in that lower region, drop H, as I said. And as you can see, we've got quite a few here, which is now looking usual, not unusual in the last year and a half, which is I kept on predicting. Again, in Hawaii, you can't see it, which I'll drop here. In Hawaii, you can see Puerto Rico. I hate to say it, there's going to be far more. There's going to be a big one here. It's like a 6, near 6 point something. I won't tell you how much, but that's going to be pretty deep, but it is going to actually set off a lot of afterquakes later on this year. I'm not going to tell you when. I'm not going to, don't even bother asking me. Hawaii, there's more and more earthquakes, which I said there would be moving up the chain, but it'll be moving up the chain in that direction. Okay, Alaska is Alaska. What can I tell you? That's going to be more. We already covered that. I don't want to reiterate things that I've already said. So you are going to see far more earthquakes, little ones here in these areas. It's really in this triangle here, and continuing here more in this quadrant is going to increase here. All right, we're going into, since we're here on earthquakes, let's go down to the world one, which we did talk briefly about, and on what we were seeing. And here was that 6.9. This is actually a bit more, 4.4, but the 6.9 on 228 or something happened. Russia. Here is a 6 point, actually it's a 6.9 that happened, and it's a subsequent 6.5. And you think it's in Japan, but it's the Kuril Islands in Russia. That's considered Russian's territory. Now, as you can see, the usual stuff here. I did say, as I said, there would be far more earthquakes. India, northern India, that's happening. Usual again, and you'll see far more in this section here too. Let's go to, actually, let's go to Australia first before we go to Europe. Now, as I said, Australia is going to have continuously having more earthquakes. And as you can see, as of today, this is today's last 7 days, there's far more here. New Zealand, there'll be more, I think, here, earthquake activity in this section, not on the right-hand side, but here. And it's as if it's pushing. I don't know how you could say that, but anyway, it's over here. And I don't know if that's of interest to you. Solomon Islands, usual, Papua New Guinea will be having far more disturbances periodically, 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, Canada, quickly. As you can see, Canada's quite rife, I'm afraid. This one's still issuing afterquakes, and it will continue to do so well into really September. And even have another, not a huge one, a reasonably large one. These are quite large anyway. But they're kind of deep, and then really, as you can see, the continuous quakes are having an effect, as I said, inwards slightly. You are going to see far more earthquakes in this quadrant here, and it'll increase far more into those sections here, earthquakes. And as you can see, it's moving inward, far more activity, and that will come in like minor quakes, 2.5, 1.9, etc. So be warned about that. Going into Europe, and here we see into Europe as of today, there was a GNC 5.7. I already said that a long time ago. These are rife with earthquakes, and this is in the last 2 weeks. As you can see, again, we're seeing far more, not a huge amount, but we're starting to see more earthquakes in England, and that, I believe, was a 2.5. This one's a 4.9 in central Italy, and this is very, very unstable, the usual thing. I am going to cover it on a separate video. I'm trying to squash in as much as I can in this one video. It's not going to be 15 minutes. It's going to be a long one, as I said in the beginning. But you're going to see that Africa is going to actually experience far more earthquakes. It hasn't shown any earthquakes at the moment, but in here. But you are going to see far more earthquakes in this quadrant, and it's really to do with that, all of this section here. That's it basically at the moment. Rain, this is not anything to scare you. It's giving you information. and we're just going to stay focused on what I've already said. And this is just an update for confirmation, since a lot of things have been happening regarding that. Regarding quickly, I'm going to bring in one quick point here, and that is for okay, I'm going to bring it on another video. And actually, we are just going to skip that for a minute. I had said that one of my clients, not client actually, one of the subscribers to YouTube, his name is, will go by CJ Dixon in Canada. And thank you so much, CJ. I really appreciate this. He had forwarded me certain comments that a lot of the predictions have been coming true. But this one, he sent a link regarding why where Italy's seeing far more earthquakes, and locals nervous over Naples supervolcano, which they've just found out about it. Well, I wouldn't have just found out, but recent time. I'll just quickly read. The ground off the Campi Flegrei, and I apologize, I don't know Italian, also known as the Flegreian fields, has risen more in recent weeks than it has in a long time. So it doesn't say it's a heightened risk, but it's the scientists, and I said before in the video, I'm sure I did, that even though scientists know about it, they're kind of putting the lid on it. They don't want to scare people, but I believe this could be the volcano I'm talking about that's going to create far more eruptions. Okay, so if anybody's interested, you can see the bit up there. And on another point that he had sent me, I had said there's be far more demonstrations, which I'm seeing far more all over the world, not every single country, but far more as usual. But violent demonstrations injure dozens, and I had said in Northern Ireland, well, in Ireland, and this is another one confirmation that's happening. All right, see you on the next bit.